AITA for telling my son's girlfriend to break up with him? My F41 son, M20, has been in a relationship with his girlfriend, Lily, F20, for about 3 years now. I love my son and I hate to say this, but he's not turned out to be a good person. He has very little work ethic, has no desire to get a job or go to college, and spends most of his time gaming or partying. Lily, on the other hand, is the polar opposite. She's very studious, has aspirations to be a doctor, is a very good swimmer, and is currently away at college. When my son and Lily first got together in high school, they were an excellent match. We loved having Lily over and my son definitely took more care of himself. Since then, it's rapidly deteriorated. I know my son still loves Lily, but he never gives her the attention she deserves, and with her clear potential, I just feel she deserves better. When Lily came to visit a few days ago, she was visibly upset. When my son went to the store, I asked her if she was okay, and she told me that she didn't know what to do and wondered why my son had such little ambition and was so lazy. I told her I didn't see it changing anytime soon, as that's my view given it's been ongoing for almost 2 years. When she asked what I would do in her situation, I told her to put herself first and what she wanted. Lily thanked me and said she'd think about things. Well, earlier today, my son comes downstairs in a rage telling me that Lily had broken up with him via text. I asked him what she said, and apparently the message referred to discussions with your mom that had made her rethink the relationship. My son was livid that I'd gotten involved and said I'd overstepped boundaries. I told him that I didn't advise Lily to leave him, just said she had to make her own choices and decide what was best for her. My son is now not talking to me, and my husband is annoyed, believing that having no Lily will make my son's rut last even longer. I also miss having Lily around. So, AITA? NTA, you didn't tell her to end the relationship. You told her to consider her needs. You son certainly wasn't. Tell your husband it isn't up to Lily to get your son out of his rut, and maybe he needs to spend more time teaching him how to be a good man and not a mooch. Let your son be angry. He will do one of two things: stay angry or get off his butt and start pulling his own weight. Too many young adults have little to no aspirations and are more concerned living in the moment. NTA, you didn't tell her to break up with him. You told her she needs to put herself first, which is solid advice to anybody. The fact that putting herself first meant breaking up with your son is his issue for being a waste of space. Your husband can also get in the bin expecting Lily to get him out of his rut. If it's that simple, he can get involved and sort it. He's his son. Besides, who knows? Maybe this will be the kick in the ass he needs to sort himself and win her back. Unlikely, as this isn't a rom-com. But never say never. NTA. If your son still has health insurance benefits, require him to go to 2 appointments. 1. Medical doctor for thorough checkup. 2. Mental health professional for evaluation and enough therapy sessions to understand where he is at. Lazy can mean lots of things. Also, come up with a plan with your spouse to require son to make progress. NTA. Tell your husband that Lily is not a trained professional to fix your son, and what is he even thinking trying to put that responsibility on a young girl? Maybe he should be a good father and lead by example instead of expecting that from someone else. NTA. Chances are the GF would have broken up with him anyway eventually, and any protests on your part would have just delayed the inevitable. You did the right thing by supporting her as a person and not sacrificing her in the name of your son's well-being. Hopefully there is a lesson in this for your son, that his choices have consequences and perhaps even be the spark that gets him going. Nah, in this particular situation, you saved that girl from years of dragging a man through life and begging him to be an equally yoked partner. He is still young, so perhaps he will blossom and grow into a responsible adult with goals and dreams. Nihilism is a big problem with today's adults. But for now, they are on different paths and goals for life. Son is just hurt that you were involved. Totally natural. But when there is an upset young lady in your home, it is your business to check in on what's happening under your roof. At least on a general info basis. I know many women who are a second mom to many young GFS and BFS that cross their threshold even if they don't end up marrying their child. So, others may disagree, but I see you being a good auntie. You said, "Here's what I see, but you need to make your own choices and protect yourself." That's not bad advice for any young lady to hear. Early 20s is a very pivotal place for most women where our decisions set us up for our future. Now, your fault here is, it's your son that you raised who happens to be the unmotivated one. Perhaps see if you and dad can apply some gentle pressure to help him bloom. Maybe therapy or a doctor can help him get to the bottom of it. IDK your son. But please be careful about labeling him as not a good person if hasn't actively and intentionally hurt anyone. He could just be suffering. Mama. Also, hubby shouldn't be relying on an ambitious girl that someone else raised right to do his job as a parent of helping his son become a healthy, well-adjusted man. That sounds harsh, but I swear I mean it with sincerity. I wish you all the best. Less than 3. NTA. First of all, you didn't go out of your way to tell her to break up. She sought out your advice and you gave her an honest answer. I'm sure it's really hard to admit that your own son lacks any motivation. Secondly, your advice was absolutely correct. Not only was your son holding her back, he was also not treating her with the love and respect that a romantic partner deserves. This will be a painful lesson for him. But it might even be the best thing long term. I've watched people's marriages fall apart in their 30s for similar reasons. Better for him to learn now while he's young. My husband is annoyed believing that having no Lily will make my son's rut last even longer. Remind your husband that it is not Lily's job to fix your son. And she can't, even if she wants to. If she could, she would have done so by now. Your son has a hard lesson to learn here. Relationships require maintenance, and he is not owed infinite patience from his partners. If he checks out and stops trying, he has to accept the possibility that they will leave him. If he does not want the relationship to end, he needs to do what's required to take care of himself, so that he has the bandwidth necessary to maintain a connection with his partner. A girlfriend is not a trophy that will happily collect dust on a shelf until he decides to pick her up again. NTA. The advice you gave Lily is the advice you'd give any young person who's faced with such a problem. The fact that she was your son's girlfriend does not change the wisdom of in that advice. And you did not make her do anything she didn't want to do. If she'd wanted to remain in the relationship, she would have. And surely your son and husband aren't suggesting that she should have remained in a relationship against her will, or that you should have pressured her to do so. Surely not. NTA. Your husband as though he wanted Lily to stay around being dragged down to make your son feel better. It is your son's behavior that has caused the breakup. NTA. But it seems like you're doing an incredible disservice to your son by not trying to help him. He's clearly struggling with something. And instead of getting him help or offering him support, you're saying he's not a good person on the internet. Imagine how upset he would be if he read what you wrote. I would be even heartbroken if I were in his shoes. I think this could be a good opportunity for you to say, "What's going on? How can I help you?" And I encourage you to do so. And don't take, "Just leave me alone," as an answer. AITA. You were watching out for a young girl who had her entire life ahead of her she could be wasting, and let pass her by because she was letting a deadbeat with no ambition hold her back. You gave your honest opinion to a girl who asked you a question. She made her own choice. If anything, you solidified her choice as she was clearly upset and likely having these thoughts already. You told her it was okay. You understood, so she went through with it. And my husband is annoyed believing that having no Lily will make my son's rut last even longer. Is your son always looking for someone to blame for your son's issues, other than your son? NTA. Lily isn't an emotional support pet and you helped her see her that. Your son has to want to fix himself before any changes are made. Maybe this will be a catalyst, maybe not. But Lily doesn't need to be kept down like a crab in a bucket because your son won't climb out on his own. NTA. You spoke to Lily like the adult she is, and stated the obvious. She needs to do what is best for her. Your son, for whatever reason, is floundering and rudderless with no job and no desire to further his education. He's currently a slug. That's not a good match for a studious wannabe doctor, and with or without your input, it wasn't going to last. Your husband wanting Lily around to assist your son with his rut is not being logical. In fact, the reverse would be more likely to happen. If doesn't already feel lesser, he would. The comparison isn't good. I wish my soon-to-be ex-Mill warned me. Instead she's paying for his lawyer and trying to get money out of me so she doesn't have to support him anymore. Upside down face skull. I don't think you went out of your way to hurt your son. It sounds like he's doing that on his own. Your son is gonna be mad at you, though. And I guess 20-year-olds do things over text, but Jesus, y'all get it together. You can't be breaking up with people over text. And I think your husband is wrong. I don't think providing relationship advice one way or another with the goal being to have the relationship fix your son is the right way to look at it. But even if you did want to look at it that way, losing a relationship because you got too comfortable and aren't trying hard enough is more motivating than having someone stay with you who quietly thinks you are a loser and they could do better. NTA. I was Lily in this exact situation. Same age and everything. Years ago. No one told me to put myself first. His dad pretended everything was fine. I finally clued in about 2.5 years in and ended things. Lily needed to be told to put herself first, and that was what shattered the rose-tinted glasses. In as little as a month, she is going to feel so much relief she cut the dead weight. Your husband is an enabler, and instead of putting the onus on a 20-year-old girlfriend to whip your son into shape, he should be taking more of an active role. AITA. I think Lily handled things weirdly here, but she's completely justified in her feelings. But to name drop mom and break up over text? That's a cold one. Lily. NTA. Your son is refusing to take responsibility for his actions. His girlfriend broke up with him because of his lack of ambition. However, I'm curious why you are letting him continue to live there and have no responsibility. I think Lily gets a soft downvote for mentioning the discussion with his mom. She did not have to add that point. The mom gets an upvote for being honest about her son, but a few points taken off along with the father because they are in some ways enabling the son's rut. They need to demand more from him if he lives at home, or let him live somewhere else so he can sink or swim. The son got called out on his behavior and did not like that. Only time will tell if he uses it as an excuse to hold a pity party or to make fundamental changes to his lifestyle.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.